Everybody, good morning. Sometimes these cold mornings, I'm a slow mover. I tell you what, and forgot my headphones even. Let's mute the phone. There we go. And welcome to the show. We have seasonality to talk about. And I popped up one chart, but I need the other chart I want to talk about here. Let me get there just a second. Trying to get all things up so we can talk about what we need to talk about. Where is that other chart? Oh, I bet it's pinned. Let's see. Where? Not volatility, seasonality. There it is. All right. I got them both. And pull these over. And come on, dude. Messaging me right when I'm on the show, and there, share the screen. So this is the normal seasonality chart I've shown, and it's very not granular, very zoomed out. We get the whole year, and as you can see from, typically from early October through the end of the year, this is over 20 years. We typically see a nice big pop, but we get this little dip right in here. Right in there. Now, zooming in, check this one out right here. November 1st through December 31st from 1928. So this is all the years. We're not just focused on the last 20 years or so. All the years right here. A little bit of dip right into that Thanksgiving week. I talked about that. I talked about it for the week before Thanksgiving, the week of Thanksgiving, and it's just a really tough, choppy week. It just tends to be that way. And as we can see, over the last almost 100 years, it's kind of a choppy week. Now, here we are, December 3rd, sitting right here. Historically, we see a little bit of, we may get a little pop and chop into the 15th, and then we go ripping into that Santa rally. So technically, the Santa rally starts kind of back here, and we get it ripped right into the end of the year. So one of those things to keep in mind. Now, seasonality is just that it's an average of the season. And when you have something that shows up like this, that's that clear, and it shows up on this chart and the big picture trend here, it's kind of something that, is likely to happen. But as always, it doesn't have to happen. The market can do whatever the heck it wants to do. So you got to keep that in mind, is that, this is what we're kind of planning on, but we can always take a left turn at Albuquerque, so to speak, and do something else. So, all right. Good morning, channel members. And Mad, thank you for becoming a channel supporter. And we've got Rob, Donald, Don, Mad, Ivan, Darren, Diane, Gaten, Dan, Arturo, Frank, Svinborn, Ted, Amy, John, Cliff, Joseph, Rex, Diane, Rongamer, Ted, Logan. Thank you all for being channel members and supporters and keeping this YouTube thing I have going. I do the YouTube thing on my own, so you can say, well, you can think about it however you want to, but I do put a lot of effort, time, and energy into YouTube, and the company doesn't really support that at all. So just kind of the way it rolls. So I thank you all for helping support the YouTube effort. And I did spend a lot of energy and effort trying to make this thing cool. And I tried to hire an animator. And I was like, you want what? I was gonna make some new cool animations, and apparently I'm gonna be animating my own. So it's ridiculously priced. Anyway, so all trading involves a substantial risk of loss. Past performance not necessarily indicative of future results. This presentation intended to be informational, educational, fun, entertaining. Hopefully you're entertained. And it's not a recommendation to be buying or selling any financial instrument. I guess I should take my sweatshirt off, stay a little while. And if you desire personal financial advice, hire and consult a financial advisor. It's not what I do. I'm not trying to tell you what buttons to push. So don't buy stocks, don't buy options, don't buy forex, don't buy futures, don't buy cryptos, don't buy treasuries, don't buy bonds. Don't long them, don't short them, don't trade them. If you just need somebody to tell you what to buy, what to sell, what to do, hire somebody. All right, that's not what I do. I can't give you personal advice. I don't know your financial situation. I don't. I mean, there's a lot of people that follow me, and I can't. I don't have the capacity to dive into everybody's personal financial situation. If I did, you'd probably be paying me even more for those personal consults. But hey, here we are. Here we are. And as long as you're okay with blanket information, let's get at her. Now, I make predictions. I get lucky. Sometimes I don't. So just keep it in mind that sometimes things don't work out the way we want. And looking at ES, well, yesterday we kind of continued the grind higher. It was a choppy grind higher. We did kind of what I expected to do. Choppy grind higher. And just a choppy sideways overnight. Retesting the roadmap line right here. Roadmap line. If you're new here, you have no idea what the roadmap line is. That's the orange line right there. It's a support resistance line. It's based on the 144 EMA. And if you want to learn more about that, you can click on the button down underneath me. The channel name, my channel name, Jeffrey Termeyer Trading. Go to the homepage, and the channel or the video I have pinned to the channel is a video that explains this and gives you the code and everything. And if you just want an easy button, put it on your chart. Links in the description. Just expand the description down there on down, and $5. You get like a weekly watch list and videos and all sorts of things going through the potential setups. Now, I do have a bonus trade coming up at the end. That's one of these potential setups, potentially ready today. And so stick around to the end, and then I'll give the bias for the day at the end also. So if you're new here and don't know how it all works, I kind of go through the market looking for opportunities today. And then at the end, I give you my bias and a potential bonus trade. So this is delayed data. So this is 10 minutes delayed, but that's kind of test and support on the 15-minute. Why the 15-minute? Why not the 5-minute, the 30-minute? The 15-minute just shows what I'm looking at. Like, see that respected it over here, but then it started muddying it up. So 5-minute, not really providing support resistance. 15-minute is providing support right now. It may not hold. We may bust on through and move up to a higher time frame, which it looks like we might be doing that. So we may come down and test the 30-minute roadmap line down here. Haven't done that since back over here. The last day of November, last trading day. So we've got that potentially over here. And then if that one doesn't hold, we just keep moving up. Maybe the 1 hour. It's been all the way back here since the 24th. It was a nice run higher. Possibly even the 4 hour. Hit it a few times there. And then the daily, still a possibility. We haven't been to the daily since back in August. Always a possibility that we give it up into a bigger retrace. So looking at the NQ, this one's still disappointing me. Still hasn't come up to that target yet. Got close. Like 150 points away from 21.4. Just right up there. Come on, just do it. Just do it. Just do the thing. And really, I guess 21.5 is what I need. Get up in that target zone, right up in there. We're so close. It'd be a shame if we left that little zone just couldn't do it. Really want to see that bust pop. Get that target. Then we'll see what happens. Come on. Looks like we're going to get a retrace for right now. We'll circle back around and see where we're at the end of the day. This has been very choppy and volatile after hitting that high right back here on the 24th, 25th. Right there, kind of topped out and just been consolidating underneath that. Just choppy, consolidating, not really indicating it's doing anything. Now, that could be just a wind up for another extension, but it could also be signaling, like the way this is very overlapping, could be signaling that we may drift lower. So nothing clear The takeaway on Russell, nothing clear right now in Russell. Nothing clear at all. Bunch of inside days. Even that big red day right there was pretty much inside the range from where we closed to where we topped out. Look at all that inside action right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days in a row. Not clear. Oil continuing to stay in the range. Bounced off the bottom. May drift back up. Have resistance in here. In that little zone. And then we could drift back down and back up and back down and back up. That's kind of my expectation, is just to stay in this range. Possibly out through the new year. Possibly through the new administration. So we may just continue this grind right out like that. That would be what I expect. Now, if we start breaking above resistance, the roadmap line up here, we could look for something bigger. If we start breaking down below these lows over here, look down for a bigger flush. But as long as we're kind of in this range, we're probably going to stay in the range unless something upsets the balance. Gold, wow. Talk about a frustrating chart. So on the daily here, there is a cautionary setup. Cautionary setup. We came up and we found resistance right there and reacted very negatively. But at the same time, when we retraced, we held a 618 here. So now we've got conflicting 618s nested. We did the bigger picture, we did the lower picture, smaller time frame, and now we've popped up again and stopped at another 618. So that's 618 here. Keep it score. 618 here, 618 here, 618 here. That's nested up 3 times. And when you zoom out to the daily chart and look at it, we have lower highs and higher lows. That's a watermelon seed squeeze type situation. If you're new here, that's my least reliable pattern. And the fact we keep bouncing off 618s up and down, I don't know. Eventually we run out of runway here. And we're either going to break up or break down. And I don't have a strong bias either way right in the moment. Big picture, I do prefer that we're going to see this 2,900. But the market could be indicating that we're not going to get there. That could have been the top at 2,800. At least for now. It may not be the ultimate top, but it's the top for now. And we may do a bigger correction that comes down in this zone right in here. This 2,400 area before we can make that ascent up to 2,900. All right. That's gold for you. Remember, coming up at 5 p.m. today, 5 p.m. is the only show where I do requests. 30 minutes of awesome, 5 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you set your reminder. Come visit me. The only way the show works is if you come make requests. So the whole point of the show, I do a little bit of market analysis, then do at least 30 minutes of requests, usually much longer than that. And I need viewers like you to show up. Otherwise, it's kind of boring and we have no requests and I just wrap it up. So make sure you come, make sure you hang out, and that's kind of the way that works. So, all right, Bitcoin doing kind of the same thing Russell did. We kind of came up here. We didn't make a giant move up, but we're just consolidating right here. Now, we did make a higher high on the futures right there on Friday, Black Friday. We made a higher high on futures, but we didn't do that on the spot market. So spot market charts all over the place. Really depends on which spot market chart you pull up. Oop, I need to turn off my drawing tool. The all-time history run by TradingView is kind of the one I prefer to look at, but because I kind of like aggregated prices a little bit. Coinbase is separate than Binance, is separate than Bybit is separate than all the other ones, OKX and all the other exchanges. They all have different prices. Crypto.com actually went well past 100,000, but Coinbase, Binance, and the all-time history on TradingView did not. This is looking a little bit like we may get a deeper retrace here. Similar to what I was talking about on gold, except a little bit smaller pattern and time frame here. That may have been too low a time frame. Let's go back to an hour, 4 hour. There we go. Now, people ask me all the time, which time frame should I look at? And it really depends on what you're trying to see. There are certain time frames that show certain moves very clearly and what's going on. And right now, here's a 4 hour. And 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, potentially 3, and this may go lower low to clean this up right here. So caution right here that Bitcoin may take a little bit of a dive for a couple days. Look where it puts us if the first move down and this next move down are echoes of each other. Look where that happens to put us. Possibly as low as that right there. Probably going to do that. Maybe that. Find some support maybe and turn to go higher. Now these 3-wave moves here are indicating that this is corrective and we're still in an uptrend. All right, this is not done yet. This is correcting the strong move up we had over here. This strong big move up we did over here into that high. This is all correcting that. And once this is done, we'll probably go higher again. How long does it take? Time is the hardest part of this whole thing. But that's what it's looking like. We're going to get a quick flush right back down into this zone right in here. So if you're not ready for that, well, get ready. It's probably going to happen. That looks pretty high probability at this moment in time right now, at least to me. Ethereum trying its darndest to break out. I mean, it's really, really trying here. Really trying. And I removed all these drawings and didn't save it yesterday. That's so cool. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Let's clear off a few things once again. And let's see what we get here. This has been a tough resistance zone to break through on Ethereum. Ether. You can see these 2 prior highs, and we're just shy of that. Like, we're still at a lower high. Like, this is kind of the crazy thing. When you look at this, we're still at a lower high. That's still not making a higher high yet. Even that one, still lower high. Still a downtrend. We need to break one of these 2 highs. Both those 2 highs. Really set this thing. See, this was a big top. Retrace, another top, lower high. Big retrace. Now we're on our way up, and we have not broken either one of those to indicate that we're going to break on out and head on up to those bigger upside targets. Bigger upside targets being zooming out here, looking at the bigger pattern from this high back here in 2021 to this low down here in June or July 22. Potential extension out here. If we break above those highs, likely to come up here. We may find a little resistance right there. That's 90% of the way to the 1272. Retrace it and then cruise on up. Possibly get an extension on up to like 13,000, but let's get the lower target first. All right. DXY continuing to churn in this area. I thought this yesterday may have just been a bounce on the way down back to this zone right here. NKD, we're trying to get away from the roadmap line. We've been in this consolidation for, gosh, look at this. Look how much time this is spent in this zone right here. All year, this has been a zone where the Nike has trouble getting out of here. And This is kind of an indicator of global liquidity. If we can break above this zone, we're probably going to go cruising up here to 44,000 and take a lot of the world markets with it. Indication of global liquidity. Not, why am I focused on global liquidity these days? Is because the only thing I found that's 98% correlated to the direction and movement of the S&P 500 is global liquidity. I use this as kind of a global liquidity indicator. It's one of the bigger markets out there, and there's a Japanese yen carry trade that people borrow yen and then go buy stuff in US dollars with it. So paying attention to this, how they're doing over there, their ability to borrow yen, kind of gives you an indication that we may see this go higher. But right now, we're just kind of grinding. We've had a little trying to break up, trying to break down, a little freak out there. But overall, this has been up, and I kind of have an expectation we go even higher. And this could go rocket way up high, but one thing at a time. Let's get out of this box and then go up to 44. All right. Now, I go to the pre-market and pull all the gainers. Everything moving up $2 or more, put it on the gainers list. Everything moving down $2 or more, put it on the decliners list. And then we talk about it. I'm going to reload this, actually, because I don't think that was the right list. Yeah, that's what I thought. Wrong list. I don't know why this is not updating across the platforms, but anyway, bunch of crap. Biotech's dominating the list this morning. That's usually a big cautionary flag for the day. Anytime we see biotechs dominating the list, it's usually not the greatest trading day. So, not much quality stuff. I don't hardly see any quality stuff on the list at all, moving up or down today. So, I go pull everything moving $2 or more up, goes on the list. $2 more down, goes on the decliners list, and we go hunting for opportunities. MSTR down a little bit, going with Bitcoin. All right, so Janky, Janix Therapeutics, Biotech. I don't even feel like it's worth looking at biotechs. They're so unreliable to trade. If that's your thing, good on you. I just don't prefer to put my money at risk on biotechs. Credo, popping up, hitting extensions. This is starting to go exponential. Be careful. It's your money, not mine, but for gosh sakes, be careful. We're hitting a major extension here. We could run it on up to this 114. This is starting to be like a 1, 2. This is getting in the zone here where I would expect a 3 to play out. Then we're going to get a 4 that could last 3 to 5 times longer than that correction, and then probably get a 5th wave move that matches about the size of that one. That would be kind of what I expect if it's going to continue to be bullish. Move projected off of, we probably retrace back to the roadmap line, which may be up in this zone. So ultimately, we could, it could go as high as that, but it could just retrace here and then get that final move. So really looking at something in the 100 to 150 zone as the ultimate top on Credo. I don't know. It's not high probability at this point. You've kind of already missed the big spicy part of the move. This could grind it out for a couple years to get to that last bit. But on the daily chart anyway. So no opportunity for me on that one. ZJK Industrial. Metal Fabricator. No roadmap line. No, it's just not enough data to do anything with. For me. Now, you can buy it, make a ton of money, but that's no chart pattern I follow matches that right there. Axel Enterprise. Wow. That one just keeps ripping. Possible move to 810. If we do that or anything higher, watch out for a rapid correction. That's my warning. SMCX, So SMCI could be delisted anytime. Could be. They've been accused of all sorts of things, accounting irregularities, coming back up to fill that gap. We're still below the roadmap line. It could find resistance there and turn down and go lower again. Or it could be delisted. So be very, very careful if you're messing with this one or the leveraged version of this, which SMCX, wherever that was, yeah, right up there. Be careful. This can turn and eat your lunch right here. This was the target before the split, that reverse or that regular 10-for-1 split right there. Reduce the prices. We were following this back when it was hitting 1200, and I said it was going to retrace to the 200 area. Well, when we split it 10-for-1, that reduced 200 to 20 bucks, which we got right there. So we hit that. This target was hit right there. Expected it to retrace from 1200 down to 200. So that was 120 down to 20. Why did I kind of expect that? Well, it all stems back for this chart right here. Psychology of a market cycle. I call it the bubble pattern. We see this happen over and over and over. All time frames, all tickers. It doesn't really matter. This is kind of like human behavior right here. We get this, disbelief and hope, and then we get some optimism that we're going to break out and go. We get belief, and then you tell your friends, and you got to tell everybody we're going to buy more, get everybody sucked in, and we get some euphoria. It sounds a lot like NVIDIA. Think about it. SMCI a year ago, everybody's like, buy more, buy all you can buy. It's going to go to the moon. Here we are a year later, and we got into some complacency, some anxiety, and the chart came back down. And there's some people that lost a lot of money in SMCI. Hopefully, if you're following me, when we topped out in February, you stayed away from all the danger on the downside. But I still managed to lose money on the drop, even though I was, bearish. Still, I didn't get enough time and managed to lose money. So playing the downside is dangerous, and I just proved it yet again to myself and to everybody else. So hard to play the downside. It's not a high probability move, even though we know it's going to happen. Time is the hardest part of that. Get enough time. I told everybody to buy as much time as you possibly could. I didn't buy enough, and I missed the actual heart of the move that dropped out. I got churned up in this up here. So when we caught the initial drop, and then we paused, and I got churned up in that before we got the real good money maker drop right there. I know some of you caught it, and good on you. So, all right, back to it. MOH, healthcare. I just trading things that the Food and Drug Administration's involved in just really don't wake me up and get me motivated in the morning. So there's another one of those healthcare things, and it looks like we may need a final flush down here to wrap up this correction off of this high. We retraced right there, and the next move down looks just like this. First move down, get the retrace, and get the extension. So I'm kind of expecting something down here on MOH. Q2. Wow. Epic recovery right there. Not sure what the story was, but wow. That guy, if you were a holder from 140, you're probably very concerned. Down here at 90% lower. Now, making the recovery. It's a lot like Carvana. This one could go higher. Let's see what we got on the weekly. Yeah. Oh, man, talk about an opportunity here. That low, that high, that low. Wow. We could be looking at something up here. Maybe even take it up to 1,500. If we manage the breakout, probably going to here at the minimum, and that very real possibility right there on Q2. Really nice. Only a dollar higher is only $60 million in the market. So only relatively easy. $6 billion market cap. So that could easily 100x. Move that decimal over 2 places. 670. Move that decimal over 2 places. That gets it right on that 1500, right near the 1500 price. So that's doable. All right, why am I looking at that? That's, I'm not saying the company's great. I'm not saying it's going to do it. I'm just saying it is doable. Basic losing money is not usually sustainable, but this could be an opportunity. It's interesting. Now, if you haven't seen this before, you're new here, this over here, these up here, Apple, Nvidia, Microsoft, Amazon, for those to 100x, think about it. That means their market cap would be $3,607 trillion. It's just not gonna do that. I mean, that's or 100x, I guess 100, that'd be $360 trillion. It's just not going to do it. Like any realistic 360 trillion dollars. Sorry, right there, 2 decimal places, 360 trillion. I mean, that one 340 trillion. It's just not going to do it. Like there's not that much money, right? There's not that much money right now. The money supply system would have to explode higher to support that kind of thing. All right, so is Nvidia going to 100x? No. So why would you play here? I mean, you can do options and stuff for the smaller moves, but if you want that explosive 100x potential, you got to be looking for stuff that's not up here in the top 100. You got to be looking for stuff that can pop up here in the top 50. All right. Now look, to get that thing up to $670 billion, it'd be sitting right up here at spot number 20 at this point. This Q2. Possible. I'm not saying it's likely. Could take a long time. Could be out here in the 2030s. I don't know what they do. I don't care what they do. I'm just looking at the chart. See what it tells me. Now, much more likely would be to stop down here, somewhere in this zone, and go another correction. So, all right, moving on. Cheetah net supply. That's a downtrend, very nasty, with a reverse split right here. How do I know it's a reverse split? Because charts don't look like this and have regular splits. Let's see, 1 for 16. Popping up, hitting the roadmap line, probably coming back down eventually. Just a dumpster fire of a chart. Oh, man. I got a surprise for you later. I'll show you. I posted it in one of my Termite Trading Lab members sent me an awesome dumpster fire. I'll have to show it off later. I left it sitting in the other room in my haste to get in here this morning. I was running a little behind. So, all right. Thank you for that, David. So we have Core and Main. These guys provide like fire hydrants and stuff like that. That's a 3 correction right there. Potential 1, 2. And this has a potential to go much higher. Much higher. This high, this low. We're looking for 67.71. And potential for much higher. Let's clear this off. Do a couple other things. Go with that and that. Didn't quite go deep enough. Oh, it's a non-log. How do you know? Log mode or not log mode? You just have to look at them until the bots are programmed both ways. So this could potentially be looking at a move up to 100. It's a double on shares. Not too bad. It's not 100x, but hey. That could be heading right up there. Very nice. Very, very nice potential. MP. Talk about that bubble pattern, right? Look at that. Right back down. Happens over and over. Now, this is, you never know if, like, was this a back-to-back bubble? Probably. Got everybody hyped up, retraced. Then we hyped it up again and went even deeper. Still, the lowest low is right there. This may not be finished yet. It's something to look at right here. That retrace right there, same size. So this little move right here could just be an echo of this, and we get the same result. Ooh, that's getting near zero. Yikes! Be careful. SMCI, we already talked about. Resistance right up here at 50, and that can take it. We can go for an extension down here around 10 to $10 or so. That's a danger. NVO potential to rally up to the resistance up here at 120 area. That's where the roadmap line comes down. Move this over somewhere in this zone. And maybe it was done over here, but maybe we turned down again. Now, NVO and LLY, Lilly, have been digging the moat on GLP-1 drugs. It looks like there's not going to be another competitor. I forget which other. Somebody else was working on a GLP-1 drug and they got denied. And it's pretty costly and to develop a drug. So unless you buy your way in, buying somebody else's research, they keep digging the moat bigger and deeper and making it harder for any other company to come in and compete in this arena. So you got the two big dogs, NVO and Lilly, and their moat just keeps getting bigger and deeper around these GLP-1 drugs. And that's a diabetes, obesity treatment, possibly just all-around addiction treatment, possibly. And yeah, it's been pretty much a rocket ship for Lilly since those GLP-1 drugs started coming on the market back here. Look at that. I mean, just absolute craziness. Cooling off a little bit. I'm probably going to go again. Not quite a bubble, although that caution, we did go quite exponential, but NVO took a bigger dip. May come down deeper, but this could be a rest, and we go even more exponential before the bigger correction. So, figuring out when the end is difficult. PSQ, wow, what a nasty chart. I'm surprised there's not a reverse split in here. Wow. I wouldn't touch that one. I wouldn't touch that one. KYMR. And it's a lot of people have a trouble disconnecting the fundamental stories, what's going on in the market with the stock charts. If you can decouple the stock charts from any kind of fundamental news, you're like, well, why did this occur? If you can just decouple from why and just look at the stock charts and ignore the news, you're going to do way, way better. That's why I'm sitting here not even looking at news. I don't really care what's going on. There's only a couple things that matter. Stock buyouts matter. Going bankrupt matters. CEO gets caught with all the company's money and a trunk full of dead ladies. That's a problem. Whether it's a male or a female, doesn't matter. Trunk full of dead ladies, that's a problem. Those things can affect the stock charts. But other than that, earnings don't matter. New products really don't matter. GLP-1 drugs, something fundamentally changing the market, kind of, you're going to open up a whole new market segment. That does matter. But as far as, regular stuff in the market, doesn't really matter. It's like I knew NVIDIA was getting ready to rip all the way back down here. right down here. Now this was 10 times higher at the time, so they did a 10 for 1 split. But right here, this pattern, I got in right there. Back here, 2022, 2023. Right there, that was my entry. Then I got out a long time ago, and I've just been waiting for another correction. Because this has historically made 60, 70, 80% corrections many, many times in its past. So when that happens, I'll probably be hunting another entry. KYMR is just a choppy, nasty mess. Biotech, skip, pass. Marvell, potential to go on up to 105. Cold, natural gas. Let's just go look at natural gas really quickly. Yeah, still retracing. I'm going to retest this zone, this orange toppy zone right here, probably. And then we'll see. If we start breaking down below it, this move is over and we're going back down here. If we break back below $3, probably coming down to 240, 250. If we can start turning higher, there's a small 618 in there. I have to turn off my drawing tool. At this point, that high, this low, at this point, we break back above about $3.37 at this point. We can go cruising on up to $4. So that's kind of the, you want an indicator. There it is, right in that zone. We get above 340. Probably going to get the extension on up here. If we start breaking below $3, probably going down here. Cold being an ultra short. If we're going to break down, this one should go higher. If we're going to go higher, this one should go lower. So that's ultra. That's leverage. Be careful on leverage. Leverage cuts both ways. It can get you. So be careful. This one, another one of those bubbles. Probably going to do this. Hate to break it to you, if you're sure this is going to 1 million, I'm sure it's probably coming back down to reality. AMD probably coming down. This was on the poppers list. Now it's starting to drop. Target still down here, 85 to 105 area. Still been it's been my target since back here when we topped. Still my target. Actually, it was only slightly different when we topped back here. I only moved it up just a little bit, and I'm waiting for the correction. I was hoping for it back here. Still hoping for it. If we can get there, it's a potential to load up. If we get down here and hold, very similar to BA. Like, this is the opportunity right now to start thinking about building a position in BA. Because if we start breaking out above the roadmap line here, big upside potential, possibly as high as 600 for the next move. And we'll probably do some bumps and humps and retraces along the way. A year later, this correction took almost a whole year to get us down here, potentially bottom. MSTR was retracing. Now we're starting to turn the green a little bit. Can we climb out of this? Bitcoin turning. Man, back to almost even, rejecting the dip. We don't have to go lower, but be careful. And turn again here. ZS. Now, MSTR, I should warn. I know lots of you are playing MSTR. We could go down here. Very real possibility. We retrace. We were just there in September. We can come back to the roadmap line. Right there. We did this crazy exponential up. Cool off. Come back down. Bubble pattern. Caution. Everybody see it, right? Maybe there's not enough candles. See it now? See it now? Be careful. Just throwing it out there. If it does, it'll take MSTU and MSTX down with it. ZS hit the target and retracing back to the daily roadmap line. Let's see what we can do next here. Let's bigger picture. It's got to move down and a move back up. And we may be setting up for a bigger flush. So this big move down to this low, actually the lowest low right there at this point. We repeat that off of here. Time-wise, it doesn't have to do that. So it's just indicating where we might bottom out right there. That retrace from this high to this low. Put that up there. 618. It's not magic stuff. Oh, like it respected the 618, turned down. Indicates that we may be heading down here on ZS. This was all choppy, nasty price action in here. Can very easily. So this looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. And continuation would be right down here. Be careful on that one. I wouldn't say it's high probability, but if we bottom right here, that's an opportunity to buy for the next move up. I'm a trend pullback continuation. So the trend on this would be somewhat bigger. It would be that would be the trend. This would be a correction, very deep correction of that trend. Very, very deep. Nope. That looks like the ticket. And we could stop as high as here, come down here, bounce, and then go up for the next bigger move. The next bigger move could be much larger. Let's clear this off for a second. Talk about the bigger upside potential. Could we look at a move up to 700 from bottoming somewhere in this 100, 120 area? You'd be looking at a move up like this. Right there. So let's kind of sketch that on here. So we have the record. High. This bottoming zone. And potential to go up here. Something like that on ZS. So downside potential in the mix. MSTU is leveraged MSTR. Be careful. This correction could be done. Could just be doing an intermediate pullback here before we go rocket ship higher. Same on MSTR. We could just be doing a little bit of correction here before we go up to the target. If we get up to 1,000, that's the danger zone. I wouldn't bet on a lot higher than 1,000. Now, I kind of said that for SMCI. I said, rewind a year. I was like, if we get to 1,000, that's pretty crazy. And then I did some projections and saw 1,200. I was like, well, if we get up to 1,200, that'd be time to buy protection all the way down. And lo and behold, there we go. NVIDIA still likely to pull back too. It just keeps. That could have been the highest high at this point. Be careful out there. All right, LPA. Nasty chart. No trend. The little bit of roadmap line we have. Price actions mostly under it. Be careful. Live Nation. That hit the target. Crazy. Holy moly. Even though they had whatever antitrust and monopoly junk investigation, right up hit a 140. Probably going to retrace. Absolutely crazy. Just amazes me when these things work. I didn't trade this because I didn't expect it to work, but Keeps proving it over and over. X, U.S. Steel. I think Elon ought to buy this just to get the ticker. It'd be funny. Their deal with Nippon fell apart. Yeah, I don't know. Like this nasty looking chart. Very unreliable. This price action just really choppy. I wouldn't put my money at risk here. I wouldn't. Bill. Yeah. That's a nasty chart. So just look at it. What direction would you pick? What would you think this is going to do? Do you think that was the bottom? Right there? You think that was the bottom? I mean, this pullback right here. This one right here. Very similar in size. This was the reaction last time. Ooh. Does that change what you're thinking here? I'd be very careful on this one. Looks like we could go retest the low, if not make a lower low. Yikes. Children's Place. Some retail just having a hard time here. That looked like it was going to plummet to the abyss, retrace back to the roadmap line, but bigger picture, longer time frame, that's just a big correction here. I mean, look, this stock has literally never gone anywhere in all these years. Since 1998. If you bought in the IPO, you've made no money. That's that management in that company don't know how to manage a positive price chart. So stay the fudge away from that. There's potential to make money on little moves, but big turn, I mean, there's no trend. Like that's just, to me, when there's no trend, there's no opportunity. PPBT, you're not going to make 100x on that one. Biotech. I'm not into gambling, so, and there's a reverse split, and that's a dumpster fire. Nasty. UMAC. Unusual Machines. So you've heard it here before. It's going exponential. How high? I don't know. Eventually, we're coming back down. Maybe 25, maybe 26. Sometime we're probably coming back down. All right, bonus trade for the day. Right here, PSI. Check out this baby. Nice, really nice numbers here. 94.7%. Now, we're a little light on trades. That's not a statistical population, so caution is advised. But the profit factor is 12. That's pretty banging. The only caution I kind of have about this is this roadmap line is not very trending. It's very flat, which may allow us to hit this and still be in chop. So we need to go look at a little bit bigger picture here and see what we got. So popping back up here, PSI. Oh, it's an Invesco semiconductor ETF, so be a little cautious here. We could see a flush. So we have the bigger dip right back here. This big one. And there's the 618. Why does it keep stopping right there? Because there's the 618. Look at that. Look at that. It's not magic. Like one high, two highs, three highs. Thank you for telling me I have multiple computers connected. And so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This will be the sixth one. Well, there's a little resistance to going higher. So we have this high, we have this low. We're only looking for that little pop into that zone though. 61.38, 52 is the stop down here below $1 below the low, and $3.54 upside potential. So not looking for the most giant move. That actually goes back to that right there, 61.43. So we're looking for this target right here, which, that could still do it without, and still turn down here and go lower. So this fits with something that could potentially work out. Reasonable play. $3.54 upside on a $61 stock. So you may be like, oh, I don't care for that risk reward. That's cool. Don't take it. Now, 53 days on average over 19 trades. What does that look like? Well, let's talk about it. And I gotta clear this off. Remove the drawings. So we've got the potential entry today. 53 trading days puts us out right here. 79 calendar days. Why is that different? Because we don't make candles on weekends and holidays. All right. So this is 79 calendar days. So you need at least 3 months. These kind of daily setups last 3 to 5 months anyway. So probably 90 days, maybe even out 120 days on your expiration, somewhere out here. Think of it, plenty of time to work. And that would kind of be sucky for a $3 move to be tied up that long. So you have to make that decision whether that's worth it for you and your account. I'm not giving investment advice. I'm just throwing out a potential high probability setup that's worked out quite often in the past. Here's the real live numbers right here. Pull them up above my head. Yeah, 19 trades, 94.7%, profit factor 12, and 51. And it kicked off. Like the entries right there. You see it? Right there. So there you go. Last one worked out back here. And that was after I did the statistics. And the statistics right here were before I pulled them in May. So this has been, had one more in the log since then. There you go. That's the potential. All right. Let's go back. That was the bonus trade. Let's go back and talk about bias for the day. Turn this off. Then we'll wrap this baby up. Get on with the day. It's S&P, well, grinding it back up pretty nicely here. Holding on to that 15-minute. As long as we can hold on to this. Higher high. Next extension. That'd be what I expect. And NQ still hasn't hit that 21.4, 21.5 zone. So we'll be looking for a break back above the 60, 62 area to indicate we're going to push on out to 60, 70, possibly 60, 72, possibly 60, 78, right up there. Not giant upside extensions, just small little iterations. That's what we see. To retrace and a grind higher, retrace, grind higher, retrace, grind higher. That's how I always talk about tops being a process. That's how you make a top in the market. This one looking pretty strong, my friend. Pretty strong. Already getting above the 618, indicating we're going on up to at least 21.2, 21.3 on the path. We may come up here, stall again before we can get on up there. Grinding the top. All right. Remember, 5 p.m. Eastern. Come see me. 30 minutes of awesome. Otherwise, have a great day.